Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shawcraft One in my old barn door, and I'm just making some tags this morning for some custom journals that I'm working on, and I'm just kind of playing around. So I just thought I'd turn the video on and let it play while I play, and we'll make some tags. So, you know, all those little pieces of, I'm obsessed with the little pieces of white cardstock that is left over from your projects. You know, whether you're printing out digitals or, you know, you have to use it for backing for something else or what have you. And this was something that printed off of my printer onto my cardstock while, like, during the night, you know, sometimes. And so I'm like, I don't want to waste that. So we're going to make tags out of it. So I think what I want to do, I want some larger size. Let me just see how wide this is. It is 8.5. So let's go 4 1/4 and make some big tags. Nope, I don't want them to be that wide. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to go 3 1/2. Nope, I'm going to go 3 on this one. So that'll be a tag. And then I'm going to turn this over and go 3 1/2. And that way we have some different lengths of tags that we can use. So now I'm like, okay, what do I do with just plain white tags? Well, I have some extra coffee that I had left over from last night, and so I let it sit overnight and get real good and dark. And so we're just gonna coffee dye our tags. I just use a paintbrush and paint it on. And I'm going to take this one and just kind of soak up some of that coffee. Whoops. And I think I'm going to use some ink sprays because I watched Artie Mays, and I don't do a whole lot with ink sprays and mixed media, but I thought I would try it this morning and see how I do with it. So it doesn't have to be super dark, just enough to, you know, kill the white. Okay, so scoot that over, and then I'm going to take another one of these little tags and just kind of soak up some of the coffee. I'm just soaking up the extra coffee that's on my, I've got wax paper. I don't have one of those fancy mats that things just wipe right off of, so we improvise when we don't have the fancy stuff, right? Alright, so we're going to let that one dry. I'm going to dry these with my hair dryer because I don't have a heat tool either, so I use a hair dryer. So I'm going to dry these and I'll come right back. Hang on. Okay, so now we have them dried, and they look a little coffee stained, and they don't have to be super dark because we're going to add some more stuff to them. And I'm not going to back, I'm probably going to put something on the, well, I'm definitely going to put something on the back of them, but I'm not going to do it until I get the mixed media stuff done. So I'm going to add a little bit of gesso, and I am just probably going to do it with my fingers because I just want little bits here and there of gesso, and you'll see in just a second why I'm doing this. But it just kind of gives it a little bit more of a mixed media effect. You can add this with a brush, or, you know, however. You don't have to do it with your fingers, but I just kind of want to smear some around. won't be able to see it real good on this one because this one's not coffee dyed really dark, but that's okay because we're going to add some colors to it and do like a mixed media background to it. Okay, get rid of that. And then we're going to bring out some sprays because she used some sprays, and now y'all have never done this, so I am just playing this morning. I wouldn't consider this a tutorial because I am learning as I go. So, sorry, I'm just trying to get the gesso off my fingers. So we're just going to play with it. So I don't have one of those fancy mats, but I have this Mod Podge mat that I got from Cricut. So I'm going to try and see if I can use this in the same way that she used it. We're doing her mixed media stuff. So let's just see. I want to try. Now I've got some sprays here that I've made myself. So we're going to see how they do. I may need to go and get some of the, you know, the fancy sprays, but we'll see how we do. So I'm just going to spray some, maybe. Okay, well, if it won't spray, we're just going to take the lid off and sprinkle. Or pour. However. Alright, and then I think she added water, so I need, do I have some water? Yep. I want to kind of lighten it up a little bit because that's a bright pink. Let's try it on this tag first. Okay, so let's just, and we're just going to kind of let it, probably dip that too much. But we're just going to kind of let it drip around on our tag. We'll set that to the side and let it dry. And I'm just kind of dabbing it in places here and there. So we'll set that one to the side, and then we'll do this one. So we're just going to mop it up, so to speak. Okay. So I'm just mopping all of that color up, and then we're gonna wipe down our mat, and then I'm gonna dry these, and then we'll add some more color. You want to dry between each color so that you don't get mud, you know, so that each color dries, and then you can, because if you try to do it with both colors wet, then you're gonna get, you know, the colors are gonna mix instead of stay that color that you wanted. So hang on, let me dry these and I'll come right back. Okay, now we have them dry, and we're going to try some blue. So we're going to sit these over here and have this blue. So let's just spray some on our mat. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to kind of dip in different spots. I like to get a little on the edges. Don't want to have too much. So we're just going to take each tag and do a little dipping. Okay. And we'll just mop the rest of it up with this tag. So now we have the colors mixed, and see how the gesso keeps it from, you know, going in certain spots. So that's kind of what the point of the gesso is. So I'm going to dry these and I'll come right back. Okay, so now we have these dry, and what I'm going to do now is add whatever I want on the back of them, and cut them into the tag shapes that I want. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm not going to make you watch me, but I'm going to use this. This is scrapbook paper, and it looks kind of old, and I like the look of it. So I wanted them to have, you know, some lines on the back of the tag. So that's how I'm going to add them. So I'm going to add those on real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I added the back to them and glued them on and stitched around the edges just to make sure that I get a good hold, and I like the look of the stitching, so I went ahead and did that. So the next thing I want to do is ink the edges of my tags. I want to trim off some of this because it's getting on my nerves. Sometimes I like to leave the strings and sometimes I don't. Today, I guess I don't because they're annoying me, so we're just going to trim them off. And get rid of them. Okay, so let's ink the edges, and then I missed one. Sorry guys, just playing around. Alright, so what color? I think I want to use maybe like a blue to ink the edges, because the lady I'm doing the journal for, her favorite colors are blue and purple, so let's add some blue. Let me grab my blue ink. Okay, I have this, it's called Tumbled Glass by Tim Holtz. So let's try this and see what it looks like. And I have these little daubers here. So let's see what we get out of it. And I don't have to, you know, have a whole lot of ink on it, but just enough to make sure there's no white showing on the edges. Not sure how I like these little bitty ink pads. Okay, I think I figured out that I like doing this better. It does get a little darker and it gives it a little more definition, so we're going to try this way. Maybe the little ink pads are small enough that they can just be their own little dauber, right? And I always kind of like a dark edge. So I usually like my ink to be pretty thick around the edges. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, now I want to use napkins and decoupage on these. Like I've made some envelopes for the journal, and so I kind of wanted to do the same thing with these, and kind of let them match. So, but the first thing I want to do is my inking, or stamping rather. So let me just pull out. I have this stamp here, and I have this stamp here, which is like a postal stamp. So I'm just going to do kind of some random stamping on the tags. And I think I kind of want to do, let's just do one at a time so that I don't get too crazy with it. And I'm just going to use black ink. This is, I don't know if you can see it because I've stamped. Let me see if I can put the lid back on it. Maybe you can see it better. I always sit my ink my ink pad or the stamper part, like this part, I sit it on top of there so it discolors my inks. So we're gonna use this little script stamp. Whoops. And I'm just gonna kind of do some random stamping all over the tag. So let's go up here. Whoops, and stamp a little there. Stamp a little there. And maybe there. And I don't like to get it, you know, super dark. It doesn't have to be a super darkly stamped, because sometimes I like it to where it looks like, you know, it's missing some stamp marks. We'll do that and that. See, just like that. That's perfect. I'll show you. See how it's not, you know, completely covered. I like not having the full coverage. Like that, and we'll do a little right there. Okay. And then let's do this last one. I think I'm just going to do that, and that, and that. That works for me. And then I'm going to take my little postal stamp here. And ink it up. And just do a little bit here and there. Little bit of a postal stamp. Just kind of randomly all over the page, and I like to go off the page some because it just looks better to me, I guess. Well, I completely missed the page with that one. Let's try right there. Okay, I like that. So it's just basically, you know, some random stamping, and it comes out like this. Okay, so then I want to find what napkin I want to use. So hang on a second. Okay, so I have a couple of napkins here. I have this one that I want to use on one. The lady that I'm doing the journal for, she likes birds and blues, and she said her favorite was hummingbirds, so we'll use this one too. So I'm just trying to get the backing off. Okay. So we'll work with these. Tape. All right, let's just do one at a time so we don't get overloaded. Let's do the hummingbird first. And I think I want to do I wish they had the whole word hummingbird on there. Alright, so I'm just going to tear some of this out. I'm going to tear the hummingbird out, and we'll start with that and see where we get. So I'm just going to tear him out. Hopefully he's not too wide. He might be too wide for my tag. We'll see. And I don't think I want to add that whole flower, so we're just going to do it like this. And when I'm tearing my napkins, I'm always trying to be conscious of what's around so that I don't, you know, I don't want to rip his beak, because I might can use him somewhere. Okay. So he's pretty wide. I'm going to just barely get him on there. without getting his tail cut off. Actually, I am going to have to cut his tail off just a little, but we're going to work with that and see what we get. So we're going to put that here, and then I'm thinking maybe a butterfly or something up here, just to add, you know, a little something to it. So let me find, I know I have some napkins with butterflies. Hang on. Okay, I think I changed my mind. I think I like this hummingbird better, so I think we're going to use that one. And we might tear some of this out too, to use it on the top, because I like those colors. So let's tear this out, and then we'll tear our hummingbird out. So when you're using your napkins, you don't have to use, you know, the whole napkin, or you can use the whole napkin, and I'll show you what I mean. Like on these, this is a envelope that I did. You know, I used the whole napkin on the front, or what would fit on the front, you know. And then on this one, I just tore some of the birds out and added that on as well, and tore a butterfly out and put it there. So you can do it different ways. It's just whatever is pleasing to you at the moment in time that you're making your project, whatever project you're working on. So and it does take a little bit of a minute, you know, to tear the little pieces out, but it's worth it. It's worth the time it takes. Alright, so do I want to leave that like that? Let's try him on a different tag. Nope. Let's try this one. Yep, I like this one. Okay, so we're going to put him here, and then I don't want that to overwhelm the tag, so I have this one with butterflies. Maybe we'll use a flower and a butterfly off of this one. So, but let's go ahead and get him on and see what we think, and then go from there. So I broke down and bought some Mod Podge. I usually use my own little Mod Podge that I make at home, but I broke down and bought some just to see, you know, kind of what the difference would be. Alright. You want to make sure your ink is good and dry on your tag before you put your Mod Podge on, or it'll smear it, kind of like that right there. So instead of wiping it, I'm going to just kind of rub it. I'm going to just zoom in for you for just a little bit so you can see a little better. Okay, and then we're going to take our hummingbird, and we're going to, you know what, I want, see how that is on the edge where you can kind of see where the edge of the napkin was? I'm going to trim that off just because I don't like that on there. Just a hair. There we go. And then we can lay him down in here. And then I just kind of pat it down into the glue, trying to not have wrinkles, but if you get wrinkles, that's okay too, because I actually like the wrinkles, but some people don't. So if you don't like the wrinkles, you can do it that way. And then I'm just going to glue over. Need a little more glue right up underneath there. And then just glue over that. Alright, so now that we have our hummingbird on, I want to try, I think I want flowers up here or something. We can put a butterfly, but I also want some flowers. So let's grab one of these butterflies. And I don't want these flowers because they're not the color that I'm going for, so. I'll tear a little bit more of that white off because we don't need all of that. Okay. And then if we put that there, that'd be cute. So let's just add him on there. And I kind of want him to go this way. And you want to paint over this real easy, because if you don't, you're going to rip your image. Alright. I really like these flowers. Maybe if I just do one of them, like this one right here that's over here by itself. Let's try that, and we'll get a bit of that script in there with it and see what that looks like. Maybe put that there. Let's just see what it looks like. It needs something over here, just a little something. What do we have? I'm going to try these little fuchsia colored flowers right here, just to have a little something on the edge right here. We just play with it and see what it turns out like. I'm going to let this one dry and we'll come back to it. So let's do the next one. And for the next one, that's that same hummingbird, isn't it? Let's do this on the next one. I kind of like this right here. Yep, let's try that. We're going to go around that little leaf right there. And then we're going to come back up around this. I don't want all of these flowers, so just trying to rip around kind of the portions that I want to keep. I think we're going to have to tear this little leaf off. But you know what? Don't throw it away, because you might can use it somewhere else on your tag or whatever project you're working on. You know, just as a little something. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue this down and see what it looks like and go from there. gently do the edges of our napkin to make sure it's all stuck down really well. And then we can trim off any excess that sticks over the tag. And see how my ink has smeared right here a little bit? We can fix that. After it dries, we'll put something on it to fix it. Okay, so we're going to leave that one to dry. Actually though, do I want that somewhere up here? I think maybe we do. Let's go ahead and put him on there. And we may wind up covering him up. We never know, but we're gonna try him. And sometimes when you use these little pieces, if you just put your paintbrush right on it versus trying to use your fingers, and it starts sticking to your fingers. But if you use your paintbrush, you can just kind of brush it right on. There we go. Okay, we'll let that one dry. Let me get a paper towel and kind of wipe some of the glue off of this one. Okay, and then let's do this one. I want to use these birds on this one. Let me put this lid back on my Mod Podge real quick though. Okay, so this one's kind of big for this tag. And that needs something smaller. Maybe I can just do the birds. Let's try that. And I'm not going to be able to get, you know, all the little branches on that small of a tag, so we're just going to kind of rip what we can and take it from there. And see right here, I'm trying not to rip the little nest because I want to use that in something else. Okay, so I don't want this down here, so we're just going to kind of rip across it. Okay, I like that. Let's go ahead and glue him down. I'm trying to lightly brush because I'm trying not to smear my ink. And we're going to take him right into the corner. Rub him down a little, and then we'll take our brush and go back over. And we might lose just a tad bit of his tail, but it'll be okay. Okay, so we have our birds on there, so I'm going to dry these real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got them dry. I'm going to trim it off a little bit on the edges wherever we had extra napkin pieces sticking off. I think this one had a piece. A very little bitty piece, almost wonder if it's even worth trying to trim it. Okay, so now you can, I like this one just the way it is, and it's according to how you like your texture of your tag. If you don't like the rough texture of your tag, you can take a fingernail file, you know, and just kind of go over it and smooth it down a little. I don't mind the rough texture, so I tend to leave mine because I actually like having the texture, because I'm a touchy-feely person. I like to have that there. So then you can either punch a hole up here, or you can put a piece of, you know, lace or something like that to top it off with. So let's just, but this one, I wanted to do just a little bit something extra with this one, because I don't know if you can see it good. You see how there's just like a straight line right there? I don't like that. So I have this piece of cardstock, and I have these stamps that my sweet friend Candy sent to me, and they're word stamps. And so this one says kindness. So I kind of want to stamp this on here. We might have to stamp it a couple of times, so. Oh, well, let's stamp again and see what we get. Dang, dang. Okay, well, let's just turn it over. Yes, I'm a perfectionist. I can't help it. Okay, that's much better. Having a moment. Oh, you know what, though? I need to go kind of... We're going to try it one more time, because I need to kind of go towards the middle, because I want to rip around the edges. So let's do that. Okay, that works. Oh my goodness. You're not going to get it perfect, Diane, so just calm down. Okay, so we're going to rip around this. And I don't want it super huge, so we're going to go a little further in and just rip around the very edge of the definition. And then I want to rip the edge of this, because I don't want a straight edge on it anywhere. Okay, and then we will ink the edges of this. I think I want to ink it in a different color. However, I do want to just kind of, I'm just going to touch this ink pad down to the paper a little bit, just so that it's not so stark white. And it doesn't take much just to kind of kill some of the white, you know, and you don't want to smear your ink of your stamp there. Okay, and so I want to use a different color to go around the edges, just to kind of soften it up a little. And I actually like mixing this color with the brown, because it tends to give it a more aged look when you do it that way. Okay. So now I just want to put this kind of right here, and that way it covers where it's smeared, and it also kind of takes away from that straight line right there. So let's just go ahead and put this on here. Okay, and I don't think I want it absolutely straight. I kind of think I want it a little bit sideways. So we're going to put that on there. Let that dry for a second. And so I'm going to go ahead and punch my holes in this. Excuse me. Alright, so I know y'all can't see this good, but this is my crocodile. I'm just going to go ahead and punch my hole here. And I kind of like to hold it this way so I can kind of tell that I'm in the center. Okay, and then I want to put an eyelet in there. So let's try. That one might be too big. Let's try a different one. Yep, let's go for the pink one. Oh, we didn't get that centered. I didn't do a very good job on that, did I? But you get the gist. You can either do it that way, or you can put the lace at the tops. So, I'm trying to see where my time is. Okay. So we'll put the lace on the tops of these and then we'll be done with them. So let me grab some lace. I'm trying to decide if I want white or cream lace on that. But I kind of want a wide lace. Let's try this one. Got this from my sweet friend Nan. You know what? We're going to put this one right through here. And sometimes if I can't get it through there, I use my handy dandy skewer and push. There we go. And then what else do we have? Oh, I know, hang on. Okay, I have some of this. And it's really, really pretty. And I kind of want a wide piece of it. And I don't want it perfectly straight or perfectly cut. So we're going to fold that over. And put it right there. And I think I'm going to sew it on. So even though it covers up that little piece of napkin we put on there, you can still kind of see it through. So we'll do that piece for that, and then we'll do a little skinnier piece for this one since it's not as wide. And again, I think I'll sew it on. Like that. So hang on, let me sew them on. I'll be right back. Okay, so I kind of did a like a messy stitch across the top there. So these are our finished little mixed media tags, and then you have the lines on the back of it, so you can actually use it for a journaling tag if you'd like. So we have that one, and then there's that one. There's the back of that one. And I even got that a little crooked, but I'm okay with that because I think it just adds to the character. And then you have this one with the blue birds. So there's our tags, and I'm going to be making some more of these today, but I just kind of wanted to throw the video on and show you my process. You know, it's not perfect, and it's something that I'm still learning, but I'm having fun with it. So I guess the whole point of the video is to tell you, have some fun, because sometimes, you know, especially us Etsy shop owners, we get so busy trying to get things in our shop that we don't get a chance to play. So even though I'm making something for someone that's a custom order, I've enjoyed this because I got to play a little. So thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like the video if you will, and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Hit the little notification bell to be notified of new videos when I upload them. And I hope y'all have a great, great day. Big hugs.